Welcome back to the Level Up Podcast. I am back here with Greg Harrelson. Greg, how are you today?
I'm doing good, man. A lot going on in this world right now, so I'm doing good. But am I a little bit anxious? Am I, a little? My energy's flowing, my blood's kind of hot, but I'm sure that's going to come across.
I'm sure it will. We had a great episode last week.
Yes, we did, and I'm in that mindset of. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm in that mindset where I want to be very efficient with my communication, and what that means is I get like my fist pump. Like when I say something, I use the I put that in it, and it's like, don't question me. Let's move on. That was the answer.
And it's short and sweet and to the point.
Yeah.
All right. So, so you mentioned something. You mentioned something when you and I were chatting before we hit record, which is that right now the real estate agent is the most valuable that they've ever been in the last 15 years. Why do you believe that?
Because we don't have a tailwind behind us right now. That there's a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace, and whenever there's uncertainty, then we default to going to professionals. So I'll say it like this: like if you get a headache, okay, let's say you have a headache. A lot of times, the majority of the people, I'm not talking about chronic migraines and things like that. You have a headache, you actually are your own doctor. If you don't have Advil or Tylenol, you go buy it and you take it, right? Your own dog. It's just a headache. Mm-hmm. I got this, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of confidence in your ability to solve the problem. Mm-hmm. But when you got a headache and then all of a sudden it just doesn't go away, and then you may have another symptom, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I need to go to a doctor. Mm-hmm. Okay. So in the real estate market, when the market's hot and you want to do something, you just can do it yourself. Mm-hmm. But when there's a few little obstacles in the way, when there's concerns with health and stock market and what the heck's going to happen with unemployment, if anything, all of a sudden we're like, you know what? I'm no longer qualified to be able to handle this. So I've got to go out there and engage with a real estate professional. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say what they'll do. So now they're saying, I need to engage with a real estate professional. But whenever they make that transition from I can do it myself to I need to engage with a real estate agent, with that transition comes, but I got to have the right one. Mm-hmm. Meaning they actually are really going to go seek professionals. They're going to seek knowledge. They're going to seek out people who they have confidence in their abilities.
Yeah. So this is not the time to hire Aunt Sally just because, the deal is certain.
No way. Yeah. Because they still have the same friend's brother that's in real estate, but all of a sudden they're not using that person.
Right.
They're going to use somebody that they have confidence in, somebody that's got a track record, somebody that's got knowledge. And even if you don't have an extensive track record, they're probably going to want to know that you're associated with a company, a brokerage, or a team that has some sort of track record. Yeah. And they're going to need to know what that is. They're going to want you to explain to them how you're the solution for whatever they want to accomplish. And as soon as they have confidence in you, they are going to hire you. But they have lost. My prediction is they are going to lose confidence in doing it themselves. Mm-hmm. Here's a fact. I know three markets that I'm in. One market has not had a for sale owner show up on Zillow for 5 days. One market has not, and the other two markets hasn't had one show up in 2 days. Mm-hmm. And there's for sale owners that show up in all markets every day because there's uncertainty. Now, I'm not saying that they just called real estate agents instead. They probably actually went dormant right this second.
Right.
They probably did nothing. Mm-hmm. But that's the transition. That's a transition. That's when I have all this confidence in the world that I can do this. Now they're like, ooh, I don't know. Well, let's hold off on that. The next step will be, well, maybe we should talk to an agent and see what's going on in the market. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're valued, and I believe we've always had value. I don't believe our value has changed. What I do believe is that the perception in the sellers and buyers, the perception of what they need has changed. Mm-hmm. So it's not like, oh, okay, we got to now go get, go figure out how to level up our skills so we can have value. No, we should have already been value.
Yeah.
It's just they are now going to be looking for it. Mm-hmm. Now, for a lot of real estate agents who really do make their proper adjustments, and they've got leadership or they're leaders themselves, they make the proper adjustments. You got to understand, real estate, there's going to be a lot of real estate agents likely to go out of business, which means there's going to be buyers and sellers that need to do transactions and less real estate agents going after them. Now, we don't know that for sure, but
Mm-hmm.
if I could predict the future, that would be one of the things that I would predict. Unless something
Mm-hmm.
changes quickly, that's the path we're likely on. So, not only are we a better value in the eyes, or a bigger value in the eyes of the consumer, being in real estate and being a skilled real estate agent has bigger values, because you're going to have less competition.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So you've got two opportunities there. You've got for sale by owners, and then you've got just the overall deals that may not be able to be serviced by the agents that are potentially even going out of business, or maybe they're just having to go consider other things because they don't have as much runway as they thought.
Yes.
Is there any other, for the right real estate agent that has some experience, has some expertise, has a good mindset? Are there any other opportunities that you spot in the markets right now?
Um, I mean, I'm not sure exactly where you're going with that, but I mean, there's going to be opportunities everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest opportunity is for at least the first time in the last so many years, 4 or 5 years, you have the opportunity to truly make a difference in people's lives. That's the biggest opportunity. So I got to start there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be opportunity to, for companies to recruit other agents? There's going to be huge opportunity there, because most leaders, when in the area of leadership, and this is in the area of everything, and you've probably heard me say this before. Well, when the tide goes out, you see who's swimming naked. You see all these famous people on Facebook that actually are so great, and their teams are so great. We'll see where they end up. Not all
Mm-hmm.
of them are going to survive this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like the true leadership rises. It'll be so evident who the real leaders are, right? And so what's going to happen is there's going to be a need in the real estate community to go seek out true leaders to help them get through this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know that there's agents in my office. There's always people recruiting my agents, obviously. They'd love to get one of my trained agents. They say they don't, we don't like to do what Greg does, but then, they recruit them and then try to duplicate the process, right?
Right.
And there's agents, of course, that, tell me who's recruiting who, and et cetera. And, and the other day they looked at me and says, man, I can't imagine if they were my leaders right now.
Right.
Like in the good times, it's kind of sexy,
Mm-hmm.
but now when it's like this, you got to decide who you're gonna, who do you want as your coach?
Yeah.
Who do you want as your leader? Because this is going to make a difference. Now, it's not about 2 points on a commission split. It's a matter of life and death for your career.
Yeah.
So those are some
Yep.
changes that will occur. There will be acquisitions taking place. There'll be, there could potentially be properties that you can purchase at better margins. Unfortunately, all the people out there that are wholesalers, so-called savvy investors, they don't have any damn money. They're using someone else's money. That shit's going to dry up. So all kinds of things are going to happen here. There's going to be so many changes. But one thing that shouldn't change, as I said on another podcast, is your routine. Don't change. Show up every day. Show up every day the same way.
Yep. 100% agreed. All right, Greg, what's the best way for people to reach out and connect?
Hey, reach out to me on Facebook. Just hit the messenger button. And hey, I'm going to give you a plug, man.
What's up?
You sent me your book, Micro Famous, right? That's what it's called. You sent that to me, one day before it kind of launched, and I looked at it, and, I was doing you a favor. I will have to admit, I'm going, all right, man, the guy helps me out. I'm going to help him out. And I've read a chapter. You can ask my wife. I was carrying around this big old freaking stack of papers with this hunky clip on it. I carried it to a couple different states, and I just kept reading chapter after chapter. And I just want to urge people that, I got a lot of enjoyment out of that. And I think when I think back about that book right now, I don't really care about the famous part, but I really do I do care about having an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I can see so much of what we've developed with the Level Up podcast and how we've reached out and some of the Facebook posts that I've done, you know, without knowing it, a lot of that has been influenced by the relationship you and I have. And then I
Mm-hmm.
see in the Micro Famous book, those are some of the teachings that you're actually sharing. So you didn't ask me to do this, but I just wanted to go ahead and share that it did have an impact on things that I do.
Well, I appreciate it and can't tell you how much I thank you for that. I will point out that when I think of an example of someone who is micro famous in the most positive sense of the word, you're one of the people that come to mind, because it's about being famously influential. When
Mhm,
you speak, people listen.
mhm.
Like, the value of being famous isn't in the value of being known or having people snap your photograph. It's when you say something, people go and they take action. And I can't think of a better person, better example of that
Yeah.
than you. You know.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. There's another lesson. Thanks for the lesson at the same time, and that is that's a level of accountability that I think all of us should place on each other,
Mm-hmm.
on our not no on ourselves. Meaning, when we go and speak and we want to help, make sure it's really helping. That's where the real difference comes. Don't just speak for the sake of being seen. Speak to make sure that you're having a positive impact on somebody. And if nobody knows you, but everyone hears your voice, is influenced by your voice, that is amazing.
Mm-hmm. 100%
Cool.
agreed. All
All
right.
right, buddy.
Well, thank you so much. Everybody go subscribe to the podcast, Apple Podcasts and Stitcher, Spotify, all the usual places. Greg, thank you so much. Fantastic as always. And hopefully people reach out and connect. Continue to send you questions, because that helps guide the
Yes.
next set of solo episodes that we're going to be doing in this time, to make sure that you guys get the best possible content to maintain a great mindset as we go through all this.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.